Alright, this will be a three-part set of videos on the group work. If you weren't able to reverse engineer these designs, I'll show you how. Let's start with the first one. Now the idea, how do we know even where to start? The idea is we're using constructions you've learned so far. I see squares. I'm just going to start by trying to make some squares. It's not, the idea isn't that I know where I'm going with this. I mean, I do. But from the perspective of the student, but it's to say, well, there's a couple of squares here. The last time I saw a couple of squares was in the construction a few days ago. I'm just going to try to do that. And when I finish doing that, I'll see where to go next. And there are some different ways of doing this. So let's see. I'm going to draw not a line across, but I'm going to mark two opposite points of my square. And then I'm going to perform a perpendicular bisector to locate two more points of my inner square. So this first part will give me the four corners of the small inner square of the design. Those four points in the circle will end up being those. Even if you don't know that yet, you could just continue and see what happens. But it's probably progress to get something that looks similar. So we'll just go ahead and connect those. Now in all these constructions, once you practice them, if you play around with them a bit, you'll see what you really need to do or don't have to do. Excuse me, like anything, it's practice. If you've only performed the construction once in class and once for homework, you're not going to be familiar with it. So you might have to do more. To construct the outer square, we need to construct the points that will be its corners. Now we just need those intersections. We don't actually need the full circles. You can make the full circles if you want to, but those intersections are all we really need. What we're doing here is essentially a bunch of perpendicular bisectors. These curves bisect these sides. But in any case, we'll use that fact in a moment. I can connect these points together, and this will give me a square. And again, the reason we're doing this is if you don't have any other idea, do the thing that we did in class that has squares. Just start with something. A blank piece of paper won't accomplish anything until you take your pencil and start working on it. So let's do that. Let's see how we're doing. We have a square within a square. That's progress. Now what about these? Geez, I wonder. So just to make some observations, it looks like this point is in the middle of this line. And it looks like these points are in the middle of these line segments. I wonder how we could do that in this design. Well, notice that the center of the circle, if you line it up with the corner of the large circumscribed square, if you make a mark there, that is halfway. It's halfway because these curves make a perpendicular bisector. So it gives me the center of this edge. I could do that all the way around, and I will. So that's something. How am I going to make the little squares? Oh, yeah, I don't know yet. I'm just finding one point at a time. So I could separately do a perpendicular bisector for each of these sides. That would be fun. That's okay. Another way, you might experiment. You might say, well, geez, that looks about halfway. Is that halfway? Just kind of connecting these things up. That looks pretty good. And again, notice how I'm not guessing at any point. This really is the middle of this side because of a perpendicular bisector. I'm drawing a line segment. I'm not filling in all the line, but I'm connecting 2 points. Where I place this protractor is on 2 points that I constructed. I'm not having to kind of guess where I'm going. I'm lining up points that I constructed. I could repeat this process and make the very same design. Okay. So there you go. That bears a striking resemblance. And it is. This is the way I did it. So there's the first one. I'll make another video for the second one.